Today, we have a video from Lion of Judah entitled, "I'm in Tears, this video is so powerful," which really makes this sound like another cancerous Instagram repost, which this is a repost, kind of. Lion of Judah took the audio of a sermon of T.D. Jakes and put that to clips that he stole from various movies and TV shows. So this isn't the original video, but I didn't feel like combing through all of his sermons to figure out which one this is, so this is going to do.
There's something about going through death and loss and pain and misfortune and adversity. There's something about going through things that don't seem fair to you, that once you go through them, you need to make sense of the madness in your life. Since you can't change what happened and you can't alter what you've been through, at least you need to be able to think that there's some greater good that's going to come out of it. It's what they call bringing closure. To bring closure to it, to justify that I didn't go through this kind of pain for nothing. I need to be able to feel like something good is going to come out of this.
Well, I don't feel this way. If something bad happens in my life, I feel like it sucks, but I need to deal with it, find a way to handle it. I don't need a greater good to handle it, nor to keep functioning despite it. I feel like I'm living in the real world, where we don't always have control. And that's just how it is. Now, if you're deeply religious, you may very well feel this way. You've been taught your whole life that there is a greater purpose, that there is a God looking out for you, and that there is an answer for everything. And that's very comfortable and comforting. But if there is no God, then that's not actually quite uncomfortable unless you've grown to rely on the comfort of a higher power.
I need to be able to feel like something good is going to come out of this. If I can't do that, then I feel like I'm a victim, and I feel like I've been victimized, and I forever feel sorry for myself, and I'm not free to go on with my life, and I'm not safe to remarry again, and I'm not safe to get another job again, and I'm not safe in another church again because I have unresolved issues out of my past, and I'm not ready to go forward with my life because I'm still tied up with where I came from.
The feeling that you just described doesn't come from a lack of a higher power, it comes from a lack of self-security. Here's where the confusion comes in. To the deeply religious, there is a sense of security and comfort in their religion, so to them, it's difficult to imagine life without it. You may have been taught since you were born that there's a God who looks after you, that there's a purpose, that there's a plan, that there's no real reason to worry about anything. But that's a crutch. It's a crutch that they've been using since they were born, so to them, it's difficult to live without it. But if you grew up without religion, it's not difficult at all, it's just the way it is. But if you grew up with this crutch, and then have it taken away, then it can very well be difficult to manage, maybe even devastating. But that's not the fault of irreligion, that's the fault of religion, teaching emotional dependence. And it's the deconverted that take the weight of that. This is one way which religion can manipulate you, punishing you if you leave, under the guise of giving you strength. But no, when shit happens, I can deal with it. The fact that you can't only goes to show your emotional strength, or lack thereof.
I need to know if I'm going to continue to worship God. I need to know that some demon didn't get loose in my life and wreck my life. I need to know that all hell has not broken loose in my life, that Satan hasn't snatched the steering wheel from God and is driving my life to hell. I need to know that the demonic influences of my enemies have not taken over my life, even though I feel like my life has become a prey to Satanism, wickedness, and carnality. I need to know that God is not through working it out, and that sooner or later he's going to do something in my life that makes sense.
This is ridiculous. Newsflash, there's no demons out to get you. Satan is not making your life difficult. The only thing that can change the direction that you take your life is you. Now, granted, you can't quite change your environment, your circumstances, or your peers, but even with those, it can be up to you to move on to better ones. But, I mean, take some responsibility. Maybe your life is out of control because you're not good at controlling it. Satan isn't at the wheel, you are.
I need to know that nothing just happens.
Well, I don't. To me, things just happen, and I live with that. Sure, maybe it's an uncomfortable truth, especially if you've been through a lot, but an explanation of why doesn't change what happens in your life, and you can still keep going, whatever it is. If you want there to be a reason behind everything, it's probably because you've been taught that there is.
At this age, at this stage, there's a reason why it happened at this age. There's a reason why it happened at this level in life. It's not a mistake. It's not an accident. God didn't fall asleep on the job and the devil came in and wrecked the car. No, God never sleeps and he never slumbers. He's in complete control and he knows where you are and he knows how old you are and he knows how much time you spent and he knows what happened to you and he knows who walked out and left you and he knows who betrayed you, and he knows who molested you, and he knows who raped you, and he knows who rejected you, and he knows where you are in life, and he knows about your bills, and he knows about your degree, and he knows you dropped out of school, and he knows about what you didn't get, and he knows about the health of your child, and he knows about the condition of your neighborhood. Understand that and tell yourself nothing just happened. This didn't just happen. There's a reason that I'm in this place. I'm so sick of talking to people who think that everything just happened.
So if you're raped, it's okay. It happened for a reason. God allowed it for a reason. Victims of such terrible things deserve more respect than that. They deserve more respect than to be told that God, in his infinite wisdom, love, and compassion, sat by and let that happen, wanted it to happen as part of his greater plan. They deserve more respect than for you to bring up their trauma in an attempt to manipulate them, play on their emotions, and pressure them into your group. That's what I call indoctrination. Even less striking stuff like stress over rent, appealing to that and offering comfort with the empty promise of a loving God and happy afterlife is manipulative and to me nonsensical. I don't see how a loving God can sit by and watch all of the terrible things that happen every day and expect us to bow down and worship him without him showing his face, indicating that he exists at all, or lifting a finger to stop all of the terrible abuses of power or devastating natural disasters that happen. If he were to stop those things, he could easily do it in a miraculous way that would amazingly show us that he exists and that he's worthy of our time. But instead, he wants to manipulate us using our past trauma and stress. He wants to entice us with comfort and community and coerce us with the threat of hell and eternal damnation. Of all the gods that we could have invented, it astonishes me that this one is still largely followed with good intentions. He goes on with more of the same. The gist of it is, God is with you, and he will carry you through all of the terrible things that he will gladly sit by and let happen. He's not going to stop any of it from happening, but he'll be your shoulder to cry upon afterwards, after he sat by and watched it all go down. Absolutely terrible things don't just happen. They're part of God's will, meaning that he wants them to happen. So worship him. Obviously, he doesn't quite say it like that, but that's what I hear. That's how it sounds to me. That's how much sense it makes. Now, obviously, I don't believe in a God. But if there is a God, it seems clear to me that he has nothing to do with us.